Let's do this. Welcome to Epsilon Connect 2024. I've just, I'm beside myself. I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here. It's from our first Epsilon Connect from last year. You know, you can only do the first one once, and it's special in that way. So we didn't want to try to just repeat that. We want to try to do something different. So in the inimitable words of Monty Python, and now for something completely different we're going to have today. And in the spirit of being different, what I thought I would do, if I can find this, because it's important that I get these names right. You know, usually you thank people at the end of a conference, and I think that's a mistake. So I want to try to start thanking people at the beginning of the conference while we're all here and we can give them their just due. The first, the impresarios of this entire conference, Harper Hunt, and also Alex Mayer, if we can get her in here. We really could not have done any of this without them, and it's just, anyway, it's a spectacular place and a spectacular event. There are other people with this event who are not listed in the speakers list, which you all have on the online agenda and speakers list. It's important to me that I recognize them because they're not on the speakers list, but they are also talent. And so I'm just going to read these names. So it's Chris Watley, Brian Park, Jack Forehand, Kevin Muto, Jonathan Wood, Hallie Hunt, Steve Ufalusi. I think I got that right, Steve. Did I do pretty well? It's Hungarian, so I'm working on it. Anyway, thank you all. You're going to find them all around our weekend. And so I just wanted to thank you now, not at the end. The speakers. I'm not going to go through the speakers list one by one. You'll hear from them. You can read about them on the agenda. But there's one really important thing you need to know about them, and that is this. They are all here on their own dime. Everyone at this conference paid their own way. Most of the speakers bought a ticket to this event. And it's hard for me to think of something that's more gratifying that fits the spirit of what we're doing here today, because this is a non-transactional event. Nobody's talking their book. Nobody's trying to sell you something. This is from the heart, from all of you here and all of the people who get up on stage. So thank all of you for that. You've all taken a leap of faith to come here. Epsilon Theory, what the hell is that? Right? And it's taking that leap of faith to have the faith that it's still possible to have real life, real people, face-to-face conversations, because that's where the human connection and our human being comes from. We're going to have conversations here. Matt Ziegler, who you'll meet in a moment, was talking to me about what is Epsilon Connect. And he said, well, it's conversations to an audience. It's conversations within a small group. And it's one-to-one conversations. And they all matter. They all matter. So what I'm hoping this weekend is that you get a chance to engage in all of those conversations. As an audience, as a small group, and one-to-one. We're going to be recording most of these main stage presentations, we're calling them. So if you're having a conversation, you don't have to stop. Right? The point of this is to have those one-to-one small group and these audience conversations. So it's going to be magic. It really is. What I'd like to talk about though, is what you should expect from the conference. We are going to have conversations up here. There's really going to be only one, I would call it formal presentation, and that's mine. Because I've been working on this thing for 40 years, and by God, I've got a captive audience. I'm going to take advantage of that tomorrow morning. But otherwise, the goal here is to have not a panel talking to you, but people having conversations and having you engaged in the conversation. If you want to be, you can listen to it, you can think about it, you can ask a question later, you can say what you want to say about it, when at your own time and when you want to do it. Harper, can I have you come up here just for 1 second? Yep. No, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Yeah, she's the boss for the weekend. Right? Harper, I'm going to give you my cell phone. Right. And my ask is that you not give it back to me until we leave this afternoon.
You will see him on his knees begging me.
I know. I don't know that I can do it. I don't know. I mean, within 30 seconds, I'm going to start patting my jacket here. I suspect a lot of you are in the same boat. My commitment for this weekend is to connect, is to be engaged, and is frankly to do more maybe actual listening than sometimes I'm accustomed to. I'm not asking everyone else to give up their cell phones. I know that's impossible. But I am asking everyone to listen and to be engaged. I was an academic for a long time, over 10 years. And I remember going to see so many presentations and talks. But I wasn't really listening. I was hearing, but I wasn't really listening. Because in academia, I'd be listening to the talk, but I'd always be listening with an ear towards what's the devastating question that I can ask? Because that's the game. That's the game in academia. And what I want to invite everyone here to do is to not play a game. Right? We're not playing a transactional game. There's no one here to impress. There's no one here to be impressed. We are here to learn from each other, and that includes me. So we're going to have a lot of conversations here today. We're also going to have a chance to engage. So yes, we'll be having the stage and we're having presentations, but we have these, we call them exploration time, and they really are meant to explore, not just to explore conversations with each other in small groups, one-on-one, but also to explore some of the resources we've put together here. We call it practical AI. We've got desks out there where you can sit down, bring your laptop, your iPad, some sort of device, connected device, and let's work on making generative AI a tool to spark our human creativity, to be human. Sport is part of being human. I understand I'm going to call it soccer because I'm American. We understand there's an important soccer game today at 2 o'clock. So we're going to show that. The sport is part of being human. Art is part of being human. We've got Chris McNew has brought his art collection. He's going to give a little talk about it at noon today. Confessions of a Finance Bro, I think it is. That's the title of it. So that's over in the boardroom over there, an art collection. Dave Natick here has made a zine. It's on the front desk there. It's just the best thing going these days. These are all examples of how we are being human and how we're making and we're creating and we're protecting and we're teaching. And that's the point of this weekend as well. I have 2 more people to thank. The first is my partners, both in the business, Rusty Gwynn, who'll be coming up on stage in a second to talk about how he uses practical AI for his life. But I also want to recognize my two fellow board members on FABLE, the Foundation for Applied Biolinguistic Exploration. That's a mouthful, but we love the acronym, FABLE. So, Rafa Mayer, Craig Wilson. Craig, you're standing there if you want to raise your hand. Thank you very much. Rafa's in back there. Those of you here last year, remember them? FABLE is the sponsor of this. This is our not-for-profit, our 501c3, which you all contributed to. Thank you. To do this work, to bring us together and to further the actual application of biolinguistics to try to save the world. It's as simple as that. And I think we're going to do it. I think we're going to do it. Our partners in this are Vanderbilt University. Those of you here last night, you were able to meet John Shaw, the head librarian, talk about what Vanderbilt is doing. We started partnering with Vanderbilt, I think it was about 3 years ago. One of our Epsilon Theory PAC members made a very generous donation to Vanderbilt is to establish the McGee Applied Research Center, the ARC, which is an important word when you're talking about narrative, the ARC for narrative studies. It was a perfect marriage with Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt has a unique data archive in all the world. They have recorded every nightly news broadcast, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I think they're doing, Newsmax now as well. They've recorded them all, going back 50, 60 years. They had to go to the Supreme Court at one point because CBS said, stop recording us. They won that case. CBS came back to them a few years later when a fire burned down their archive and said, hey, can we have a copy? True story. It's a unique archive that, with the help of the McGee Applied Research Center for Narrative Studies, has now been transcripted. We now have all of it, the advertisements, the content. It's now not just searchable, but explorable, and we can apply our natural language processing tools, our machine learning to this unique archive. Now, we've prepared a couple of videos of news clips through the years. And if you are of a certain age, as I am, I think you're going to find some of these pretty entertaining. So this is not the hard science work, but it is absolutely the fun science work about being human in the age of AI as seen through the nightly news of the last 50 years.
Roy Sherman is a computer analyst by profession. His home unit in a corner of his suburban garage is typical of what more and more people are going to have now that a personal computer costs no more than a hi-fi rig.
Computers mail us increasingly threatening letters about unpaid bills
and refuse to pay any attention to our replies. For those who read science fiction, there can be a deep-seated fear that the computer is already outsmarting us, preparing, in the words of one computer scientist, to nudge us out of our ecological niche.
Some computer scientists, including Dr. Edward Feigenbaum, say the expert systems are examples of artificial intelligence, as close as machines have come to duplicating human thought.
Intelligence is not a thing that you have or you don't have. There are degrees of it. There are domains of it. Expert systems have achieved significant levels of intelligent behavior within narrow specializations.
It doesn't look like those efforts are going to produce machines that exhibit common sense kinds of reasoning.
For Dr. Robert Walensky, common sense is the key to intelligence. And so far, he says, machines just don't have it. To understand how difficult the problem is, we only have to listen to a child. From the age of 6 months on, a child can learn and understand language. That task is so complex that for now computer scientists cannot even imagine how they would program a machine to accomplish it. Computers can and will perform very difficult tasks, but until they can learn and understand, they will not be intelligent the way humans are.
Computers can take voice directions to check your credit card balance, to buy or sell stocks, or to provide a variety of information that only people used to supply.
Where's the nearest hospital?
A computer obliges.
Cambridge City Hospital is located at 1493 Cambridge Street.
The advantage of computers?
They will never get tired. They're going to be working 24 hours a day.
Who might computers replace next?
Irving R. Levine, NBC News, Washington.
Are you all right, the robot asked. But truth be known, it doesn't give a good gigabyte whether you're all right or not. It's just a machine. And as we rapidly approach a time when man can build machines even smarter than he is, more and more scientists are warning that things could get out of hand in this strange relationship, and none have said it louder than Bill Joy, co-founder and chief scientist of Sun Microsystems.
If you create a more intelligent species, we don't know how it would treat us. It could get out of control and decide that we're a pet, essentially.
It turns out scientists have been asking for years. How long before we can't tell the difference whether we're talking to man or machine? Here's John Donvan.
You can tell even in science fiction, say The Matrix.
The Matrix?
Or WALL-E, who is the computer and who is the human? But what if it's not so clear? As in a certain annual man versus machine contest held in England and shot for YouTube. The idea is an annual prize for the programmer who can create a computerized personality so convincingly human that real humans can't tell the difference.
But slave or adversary, the computer, everybody agrees, is an inevitability. Gathering in and pouring out that most important raw material of our time, information.
The Vanderbilt team has prepared 6 or 7 of these videos that we're going to be displaying on a loop out there. They're wonderful to watch. It's really a lot of fun. Let me show you one more.
Within a very few years, these interconnected computers will have dossiers on virtually every household in the land.
Let me say a few words about today's computer.
Today's computers are talking. It's part of a nationwide testing program to prove that machines are more than just a collection of mechanical men. It is
in a country that already has a richer variety of crimes than it really needs, here's a new one. Using one computer to steal information out of another one.
The new series, Our Computer Future, tonight looks at artificial intelligence, the ability, if any, of these exotic machines to think. Here's Robert Brazell.
This computer creates drawings, one after another, hundreds an hour, and no two of them are identical.
They used to talk about Superman being faster than a speeding bullet, but in the world of supercomputers, that's just a snail's pace.
Only in the mind of a supercomputer able to perform 500,000 calculations a second could images this convincing be created. There are fewer than 120 computers that fast in all the world.
Supercomputers also enable architects to visualize a new building and its environmental impact without making thousands of drawings by hand. And the National Weather Service uses its supercomputer to process atmospheric data that previously couldn't be handled in time to make forecasts.
Please write to Mrs. Wright right now. Another innovation from IBM and the most advanced voice recognition system of its kind.
Kasparov and IBM's supercomputer Deep Blue have been locked in battle since Saturday. And once again, the computer, programmed by other chess champions, has already done what was thought impossible, beating Kasparov in the first game.
Is the computer going to be thinking when it takes on Garry Kasparov?
I will be thinking. And you'll be thinking the computer will be just simply going through the pre-programmed instructions we put into the computer.
losing to him by 1/100th of a second. Watson.
Who is Michael Phelps?
Yes, Watson.
What is The Last Judgment?
Correct. Go again. Watson.
Who is Jean Valjean?
Correct.
And today, when we saw what makes Watson tick, he's loaded with a world of data, 10 refrigerator-sized racks of servers. When Alex Trebek delivers that clue to the humans, a text of the clue is sent to Watson, who searches his hard drives for the answer.
I would like to see you guys do in this discussion is really be able to kind of vet how you feel about this.
She's talking about ChatGPT.
What was your reaction when you first encountered ChatGPT?
My first reaction was absolutely panic. If it's introduced to them not through the lens of being a cheating tool, and instead through the lens of being something that will help them, we have a better chance further down the road of them seeing it that way.
Meanwhile, the best advice is not to give the computers anything bad to say about you. This is James J. Kilpatrick in Washington.
Sage advice for sure. Don't give the computers anything to say about it. I do wonder what all the chuckles we had here, I don't think it's going to take 40 years for us to be chuckling at what we're thinking and saying about AI today. I really don't. It feels, and I think this is accurate, that this is accelerating. And so I think that's why it's really important to have this conference now about being human in this age of AI.